to the channel. Out of ammo, out of time. I'm your host, Krabby Terror 8, and here we are in, I think it's part 14 of the Season 2 of the Investigator Games, here with everybody's favourite out-of-work actor and gravedigger, William Yorick. Yes, and I hope everybody is staying well and staying healthy and isolating at home like I am to try to head off the worst consequences of this terrible virus that we're all living through at the moment. And I hope that my videos in a small way are helping you pass the time. They're certainly helping me in terms of having something to do while I'm at home. So hopefully we can get through quite a few of these investigator games before some of the new investigators hit, and I'll be back to see someone again for a while playing The Gathering. But anyway, enough about that. What is the Investigator Games, I hear you ask? Well, for those who are new to the channel, a hearty welcome. It's like the Hunger Games. We take each investigator true solo, which of course everybody knows is the rock and roll of Arkham Horror, the card game, to play true solo. And we see how they go, and depending on how they go, they end up in a league table like this one. This league table here is the table so far for Season 2. This has the carryover points from Season 1 and shows how well the investigators are going ranked from best to worst. And we can see that indeed Roland Banks is still topping the table. Nobody has beaten his record of 5 cultists yet. He has done really, really well. And ironically, or not ironically, maybe not ironically, but anyway, he was the first in this season, so he's really set the mark. We can see that Ashkan's doing pretty well, and Akachi was last week. She had some difficulties. She only got 3 cultists, but she started with 7 victory points from The Gathering. But she did manage to end up with a number of victory points. So she's up there as well. And then down the bottom, we've got poor old Daisy Walker and Jim Culver really not doing well at all. Not many points from The Gathering, and didn't get many points here. In fact, poor old Jim didn't get any cultists and suffered a mental trauma. He had a terrible time of it. So, yeah, quite a variation there, really, in performances. And the other point I should just make for those who saw last week's episode, I thank you, the feedback. I got some feedback. I did make an error. Yes, you can. This is with Crypt Chill. I should know this, but, just sometimes you just forget things. Yes, indeed. Things like Sixth Sense and Shriveling are assets, even though they are spells, and I could have removed, say, Sixth Sense instead of my Holy Rosary. But anyway, it was just one of those moments where I just kind of forgot what I was doing, and I do apologize. Thank you for the feedback for those people who mentioned that. I really do appreciate it. Nobody can play this game perfectly, and sometimes I play it more perfectly than other times, and last week that was a bit of an error. Anyway, for those who are also new to the channel, who haven't played this game before, I would heartily recommend that you go and watch some Let's Plays or play in real life first. I'm assuming you know how to play, so just spoilers there as well. Anyway, let's get into good old William Yorick. Here he is. He is, as the grave digger, he is Traded Ward. Now, his stat line is interesting. So obviously he's a survivor. That's the red always designates a survivor. He's a good fighter, though. He has 4 fight, which tells you he really is about whacking things around the head. And he has pretty good reasonable evade as well, agility, with 3, and also willpower of 3. His biggest weakness is his intellect at only 2. Akachi was similar. And this can be a real problem in the Midnight Masks, because it really is all about getting clues. So you'll see some of the choices I've made to try and counteract that. because 2 intellect is not going to get you a lot of things. Akachi was using Drawn to the Flame. Obviously, survivors have their own way. Look what I found is an obvious example. So that's his stat line. So in terms of fighting, he should be fine. And also he can take Guardian cards, which means he can take guns and he can take machetes and things like that. And he has, of course, his special ability is a triggered responsibility. After you defeat an enemy, play an asset from your discard pile, paying its cost limit once per round. So he's got recursion. So the other thing William Yorick can do is he can recycle cards, which means that cards that normally other investigators might avoid, perhaps, things like the baseball bat, for example, because it can end up in your discard pile. William Yorick just laughs at that because he just brings it straight back. And also having other cards, survivor cards, allow for recursion as well. It's one of the sub-themes of the survivor set in particular. And so William Yorick is a great one for recycling. His elder side effect is +2, which is nice. And if it's successful, you can return a card from your discard pile to your hand. So really fantastic elder sign effect again. So not being too afraid to have cards in his discard pile. I am but a simple player in this drama, but if I am lucky, I'll live to see the curtains fall. He has pretty good health and mental agility is okay, so he's pretty well balanced from that perspective. Now, if we just go over to the next thing we should do is just pop over and have a look at what I've done. Now, the other feature, of course, of all of the Investigator games is everybody starts with their official starter deck, which are less than optimized. And William Yorick was no exception. So you can see here the changes that I've made. He had 6 experience from the gathering. So I made a bunch of changes. And you can see what I've done here. Interested to think what you think about this. I took out the 45 automatic because I wanted to lean into machete, lantern, gravedigger's shovel. So he's got 2 gravedigger's shovels. He's got 2 machetes and 2 baseball bats. So we're going more with hand weaponry here. Partly because the 45 automatic is limited. You only get so many bullets, and also it's expensive. I took out physical training and dig deep as well for the same reasons, because really William Yorick, I don't think he's really going to have the money to use those. I took out the knives because I'd rather have a gravedigger's shovel or a baseball bat or a machete. And also I took out evidence because I wanted to replace that with other things as well. And you can see that in what I have. So here we've got now 2 flashlights. So in terms of clue getting, we've got 2 flashlights. We've got 2 lanterns, which allow you to get clues as well. We also have 2 look what I founds, and we also so those are the ways that we're going to look to get clues. And then in terms of fighting, we've got 2 gravedigger's shovels, we've got 2 machetes, we've got 2 baseball bats, and then we've got various other bits and pieces, more fighting things with allies, beat cop and guard dog. We've got rabbit's foot and lucky, etc. as well. So all in all, I think that's reasonably good. Maybe I could have kept more evidence and taken out something else, but I think at the very least, if we can get Wolfman Drew, and of course we've got the Masked Hunter, we can get those. And it's relatively easy to get clues in the early part of the game, and we've got look what I found. So we should be okay if we have all of those, and we can even bring look what I found back to our hand. So pretty good all around, I think. One last thing I just remembered is the random basic weakness. He had the weakness of the detective. What's he called? The something detective. Anyway, it's the detective that never leaves you alone, keeps coming after you. Stubborn detective. That's right. That was his random basic weakness from the gathering. So that's in the deck as well. Okay, so let's let's pop over to let's try that again. Okay, so let's pop over to, I'm just going to readjust this a little bit. It's not quite, it's better. There we go. Okay, so that's the deck. Let's shuffle it all up. Okay, we're ready to roll here. Let's just pop up here. Here's the layout of let's just bring that up a little bit. It's the layout of the Midnight Masks, and here is William Yorick waiting patiently at the house to start. We'll pop up here. We're in turn 1. Hello? There we go. Oh, don't know what happened then. We'll pop up here. We're in turn 1. Of course, no Doom down. So let's, I'll just shuffle up the Encounter deck, shuffle up the Cultist deck, and we'll just read them out and we can get going. Predator or Prey. Lita seems convinced of a conspiracy within the city of Arkham. She believes that a secret cult serves the ghouls that live in the crypt beneath the city, and that several of the cult's prominent members are scattered throughout Arkham. As you begin searching for them, you too can't shake the feeling that you too are being hunted. Yes. Action, resign. You don't want to risk taking too long, so you head to safety with the information you've gathered. And the Act deck is Uncovering the Conspiracy. You have 1 night to find the members of this cult and unveil their plan. The more members of the cult you can find and interrogate before midnight, the better. Action, investigators can spend 2 clues per investigator as a group. Draw the top card of the cultist deck. Objective, find as many unique cultist enemies as you can and add them to your victory display. If there are 6 unique cultist enemies in the victory display, advance. Note, not all 6 of them are in the cultist deck. We're playing on standard difficulty. The chaos pack is already set up, and I've already randomly chosen downtown and Sasside, so they're already set up and ready to go. So I guess all we've got to wait for now, patiently, is for the horn to go off to start the Investigator Games and the crowd to cheer, and we can start. There it is! Yes, and a big cheer for William Yorick, who waves his spade in the air, waves his lantern around, and we are ready to go in the Investigator Games. Okay, so what do we want? What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? Well, we definitely want a weapon. So a machete would be fine. A baseball bat would be fine. So a weapon would be good. Also, an ally would be good. So a big cop or something like that. A look what I found would be fantastic, because then we can get, we can not only get a couple of clues, but we could probably look to get a victory point or 2 in something like Miskatonic University. They're the main things. An emergency cash wouldn't go astray, because we'll probably start running out of cash. And a vicious blow would be nice, so that we're ready for when the Masked Hunter comes along, we can really bring the pain. So let's draw our 5 cards and see what we get. Damn it, I didn't shuffle them. Oh my god, I haven't even started yet. And here in the Investigator Games, we can't start because... Oh my goodness. Right, let's try again. Shuffle. Okay. Calm Blue Ocean. Drink your coffee. Think we can do it this time, William? Do you think we can do it right this time? Okay, ready, steady, go. So let's draw our 5 cards and see what we start with. And here we go. So yeah, this is pretty good actually. So we've got the machete. So we've got the machete. That's a good start. I like the rabbit's foot. I like the vicious blow. I like the guard dog. I don't think we need the baseball bat and the machete. So I'm going to set aside the baseball bat and draw again. See what we get. And we get another machete. Okay, 2 machetes. We're going to dual-wield machetes. Actually, it sounds funny, but one of the things that Kachi came a cropper with this last time, which of course there's Crypt Chill in this deck, which I hadn't seen in ages. So actually, whilst it might seem a little frivolous to have multiple machetes, we may come across Crypt Chill. We are running at a -1, so what it means is that if we lose the machete, then it's no big deal. So let's do some setup here. Yep, so that's the first thing we're going to do. First action is we're going to spend 3. Oops. And we're going to bring out the machete, of course. So we are now ready for action. For our second action, I am going to avail myself of the facilities here in at the house, which is that you can once per turn draw a card and gain a resource. So I'm going to gain a resource. I'm going to draw a card, and we draw into resourceful. That is a really, really nice card because we can bring a card back from our discard pile. And then for our final action, I am going to spend 3 and bring out the guard dog. Yeah, so that's good. So yeah, that's nice. Now the only thing I realize we don't have at all is we don't have any clue getting abilities. So we didn't get look what I found. We didn't get a flashlight. We didn't get anything like that, so we really need some of those things because at the moment we're a little bit on the low side from that perspective. Maybe I should have taken 2 of what was it called? Yes, maybe I should have taken 2 evidence. Well, too late now. Okay, so there we go. That's a pretty good start. So in the first turn for William, we brought out the machete. We then took a card and a resource and got resourceful, and then we brought out the guard dog. So that's nicely set up for the start. Okay, so we move into the enemy phase, or the enema phase, as I like to call it, but there are no enemas or enemies to speak of. So we will move into upkeep. We'll take another resource. And we will draw a card, and we will draw into, look what I found. Yes! Now, if we get the rabbit's foot out, we're going to get a nice little thing there because we can fail a skill test, rabbit's foot. Oh, I'm getting some really nice card drawing shenanigans with all of that. That's brilliant. Okay, all good. Let me just flip over my little card, my little tokens here. Flip. Hello. Yep, there they go. Okay. So, great. Let's move into the mythos phase, and let's shift up to the mythos part of the game. So we are now in turn 2. There is 1 doom down. Let's just shuffle this up again. I know I already did it, but we'll do it again. And we will see now, gulp, what the encounter deck has for us. And the encounter deck has a Acolyte. Great. Okay, well that's easy for us to deal with. This piece of cake. We'll stick him in Rivertown because we don't want him to hang around too long. These poor acolytes, they really are. They really take a pasting, don't they? And we'll just get a doom for him somewhere. There you go. No, not a health. I'm doing doom. There we go. Sorry, my tabletop simulator is a bit laggy today. Don't know why. Okay, there we go. There's the doom on the acolyte. So, yeah. So there we go. All right. So that's the end of the mythos phase. So far, so good. Fairly predictable start all round, really. So here we are in the next. So here we are in the second turn. So what do we want to do here? Well, this is yes, we're here. We're here in the house. So what I'm going to do is first action. I'm going to spend the resource to bring out the rabbit's foot because failure needs to be rewarded, I believe. So that's the first thing we're going to do. The second action we're going to do is we're going to investigate. Now it's 2 on 2. Let's see how we go. 2 on 2, and we pass. Wow, I haven't had a +1 in a while, so that is a successful investigation. I was thinking I would end up using the rabbit's foot. So we get the first clue. That is brilliant. Now we have one more action, but the problem is if we take the final action here, we're going to take a. Actually, that might be worthwhile. I'm just thinking I might do that because that would be really efficient. Because what will happen is the acolyte will hit us, and the guard dog will can hit back, and then we've essentially saved ourselves having to mess around. So I'm going to move up to Rivertown. Probably wouldn't do that normally, but we know in the Midnight Masks that time is absolutely of the essence. You don't have much time to do things. This way we can save ourselves some time and be ready to get our second clue. So what we'll do is this will kill the acolyte dead, and then what we can do is we can there's Rivertown. It's only a 1-shroud location, so we should relatively easily get this clue, and then we can bring out the first cultist and get on with it. So there we go. That's the end of our second turn. So basically we brought out the rabbit's foot, ready for when we fail something, which we inevitably will. We then investigated and got a +1, so we didn't fail that, and we got the clue. Then for our third action, we moved to Rivertown, and we now have the acolyte on us. So that's the end of the investigation phase. So we will move into the enemy phase, and immediately the acolyte hits us. Well, hits the guard dog, and the guard dog, of course, as a reaction trigger. 1 damage to the guard dog, deal 1 damage to that enemy, and that kills the acolyte. There we go. Nice and efficient. So we will move into the upkeep phase. Let's flip these over. There we go. Let's take a resource. Let's draw a card. And we draw into the baseball bat, which we don't really need. Well, we can't really use it at the moment. But, you know, it's got a fight pip, so we are going to need those at some stage. So there we go. Okay, so that's the end of the upkeep phase. So we move into the good old mythos phase. So we're at the second mythos phase. Turn 3 already. 2 doom down. We're a third of the way through the first act. Let's see what the good old encounter deck has for us. And it has another acolyte. Well, this is starting to become a bit of a theme, really, isn't it? I might put the next acolyte here because I might try and get over to Miskatonic. Do we go there to Miskatonic University and try and get the 2 clues with look what I found? Or do we've got an ally already, so we don't need to search for an ally with Southside at the moment, but we might need it a little bit later. So yeah, I might put the acolyte here because I wouldn't mind those clues and the victory point for good old William, and then he's got a doom on him. Okay. All right. That is the end of the mythos phase, so we will move into our investigation phase. Let's go ahead and try and get this clue. So it's a shroud of 1 here at Rivertown, and we are a 2, so I think we just go ahead straight up and investigate. I don't want to use resourceful or anything at the moment, so it's a -1 or better. Curseback is a 0. That rabbit's foot really is lucky, and we get the clue. No, we don't get Rivertown. Hello, yeah, we get the clue. Brilliant. Okay, so that was our first action. Our second action, I think we'll see what this is, so we'll get these out and find the cultist. So we will put the 2 clues out of the way over here. We will shift up to here, shuffle up the cultist deck. Hello. And we will... am I shuffling up my... no? I was shuffling something. What was I shuffling? Oh, I was probably shuffling that or something, wasn't I? Okay. Anyway, let's draw. Let's just give it one more. Yep. Let's draw and see what we get. And we draw into... Wolfman Collins. Herman Collins. Herman Collins in the graveyard. So that's okay. I always like to finish with Herman Collins, I guess, because he's relatively easy. You just throw in 4 cards. I don't want to throw in my 4 cards at the moment, so we might let him hang around in the graveyard for a little bit. But that's fine. And then for our third action, we are going to move to Miskatonic University, and we're going to do the same shenanigans again with the Acolyte. So there we go. And I know this is using up our guard, but you know, it just in the Midnight Masks, every action counts. So the more we can compress our actions, action compression is incredibly important in the Midnight Masks. So there we go. That was a pretty successful round for William Yorick. We investigated Rivertown. We got the clue. We threw in the clues, and we got Herman Collins, and then we moved to Miskatonic University. And we got the Acolyte. So the plan is that we're going to use our Look What I Found next time, which will not only trigger the rabbit's foot, will give us 2 clues and a victory point. And then we can then use those 2 clues to find another cultist. That's the plan anyway. Okay, so let's move into the enema phase, and indeed again the ground dog, the guard dog, he takes another damage. Kills the Acolyte. I am doing that right, aren't I? Enemy attack deals damage. They're going to deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. Yes, and he dies. So he's dead. It's another one dead, but the guard dog is taking damage in the process, but we don't mind. So we move into the upkeep phase. Let's flip these over. Flip. Nice. Another resource. Nice. Let's see what we get. Another Look What I Found. Okay, fantastic. I'm not feeling so bad about evidence now. It's not been such an issue after all. So that's all good. Okay, so the only thing is guard dog's going to get pasted fairly quickly. So it's whether we try and find another ally from Southside, but we actually don't know. It might not be Mars Boarding House. It could be the other one. Whatever the other one is, the Hysterical Society. So anyway, all right, so that's the end of the upkeep phase. So we move into the Mythos phase. Let's shift, back up to here. Turn 4, 3 Doom. We are halfway through. Let's see what the lovely encounter deck has for us this time. And it has... Oh, what? I did shuffle these. You saw me shuffle them, didn't you? Oh my god, another one. Okay, let's put this Acolyte on Southside. So what we're going to do is we are going to go there, and hopefully it's Mars Boarding House and we can get an ally. I can't believe it. 3 Acolytes. It's a good job we're killing them, because otherwise it would be awful. We'd have all this doom on the table. Okay. Can you believe it? 3 Acolytes in a row. I definitely shuffled it. Yeah, so there you go. Okay, so that's the end of the Mythos phase. So we move into the investigation phase. Okay. So what are we going to do here? We are here at Miskatonic U, which we should have flipped. My apologies. 4 Shroud. And there are 2 clues on here, so we are going to go ahead and investigate. So it's a 4 Shroud, and we are a 2. So basically, this says fast play. After you fail a skill test by 2 or less, discover 2 clues at your location. So we have to fail the skill test by 2 or less, and if we do, we will also trigger the rabbit's foot as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So, okay, let's see what we get. And we get a +1. We still fail. I can't believe it. I can't believe the draws we've been having. William Yorick's just finding them clues. But this time he got a 3. A 3 versus 4 is a -1. So we failed by 1. So we can spend the 2. We can fast play. Look what I found. So we get the 2 clues at the location. That is fantastic. We can get the 2 clues. And not only that, because we can exhaust the rabbit's foot, and we can take draw a card. Yep, and we can draw a card as well. Lucky, nice card, good card to get. So so that's all good. Okay, that was our first action. Wow. Okay, so the second action, let's get these clues out again, because I want, you know, let's leave Herman Collins for a little bit later. And let's get the second... oh, before I do that, I'm sorry. I nearly forgot. You're all screaming at me. Yes, indeed. Oops. The first victory point goes down. Crowd goes wild. Wow. There we go. Fantastic. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. We were just getting a cultist, weren't we? Let's shuffle them up. Who do we get? Ah, we get Ruth Turner. Okay, Ruth Turner. Whoops. So she's over. She's the mortician. So I think that's decided where we're going. So I think, yes. So that's excellent. Okay, so Ruth Turner is over at St Mary's Hospital, and we will definitely be paying her a little visit. But her evasion is a 4. Oh no, 5. So I don't think we'll be trying to evade her. So that was our second action. Our third action, we will move to Southside. You see a bit of a theme here, which means the acolyte engages with us again. Yep. Now, which one do we get? Mars boarding house. And we get, what do we get? Oh, it's the Hysterical Society. No! Bugger. Ah, bugger. Never mind. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we get the Hysterical Society. So that was those were our second. So those are all our actions. So that was all pretty successful. Things have been going reasonably well for William Yorick, just considering all things considered. So we what did we do? We searched Miskatonic University and we failed by 1. We played Look What I Found and got 2 clues. We then immediately played those 2 clues and brought out Ruth Turner at the hospital. And then we moved to Southside, which is not Mars boarding house, and we now have the acolyte on us. So we will now move into the enemy phase, and indeed again the guard dog will die. So the guard dog dies, and we kill another acolyte. And we are just going through them like there's no tomorrow. So that's the end of the enemy phase. So we move into the upkeep phase. So here we go. Rabbit's foot's back up. Let's flip these over. Take a resource and draw a card. And we draw into another vicious blow. Wow, we're really set up for when we meet the Masked Hunter here. It would be nice to get another ally, though. That's the only thing we don't have. I mean, do we really need another ally? I don't feel like it's absolutely essential. I think the guard dog has been brilliant because it's just saved us all that carry on trying to kill those acolytes. And we've gone through 3 of them, so there shouldn't be any left. So that should be that. Okay, that's the end of the upkeep phase. Let's move into the Mythos phase. Let's shift up here. We are now in turn 5. 4th Doom down. What do we get from the encounter deck? We get Wings of Darkness. Of course we do. All right, Wings of Darkness. Test 4. If you fail, take a damage on a horror, disengage from each night and move to a central location. Okay, let's just have a look. yeah, I suppose it's not the end of the world. You know, it's not the end of the world. I'm just trying to think where we're at. What are we in? Are there 4 doom on the table? Yes. So we've got. Yeah. Okay. I don't really want to be using any of my cards for this, so I'm just going to go ahead. Now we are a 3. That's a skull, which is for each doom. So it's a 3 versus a 4. So we do fail, but we can exhaust the rabbit's foot and get a card. And we get a dodge. We take a horror and a damage, and we move to Rivertown. Ooh, we move to Rivertown. Okay. Okay, so there we go. That's a bit of a pain because, yeah, anyway, that's all right. Okay, so we're back at Rivertown. Not where we want to be. I really wanted to get over and deal with Ruth Turner. Okay, so that's the end of the mythos phase. So we move into the investigation phase now. The Masked Hunter will be upon us shortly, and I want to make sure that we are ready for that. Because if we take 2 moves and we fight Ruth Turner, I guess we can hit her with a vicious blow, which would do 4 points of damage. Would kill her instantly. So I think that's what we do. I just don't want to over egg the pudding because I want to be ready for the Masked Hunter. But you know, it's the Investigator Games. We can't be messing around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 actions to move to St. Mary's Hospital. So we're engaged with Ruth Turner. We're not going to try to do the evasion. That's far too challenging. So that was 2 actions. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fight. We're going to fight Ruth Turner. So we are a fight of 5. She's a 2. I am going to use one of my vicious blows. So that gives us a 4, 5, 6. And if we succeed, we will do... Oh, we'll only do 3 points of damage. And then we can dodge. Yep. Okay, let's do that. All right, so we will... or then maybe we shouldn't use the vicious blow then, because we can take our time and keep the vicious blow for the... Masked Hunter. What's the guard dog? What's happening here? Oh, okay. Hey. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter what order they're in. Okay, so I've changed my mind. We're going to engage with Ruth Turner. We are going to fight her, but we're just going to fight her straight up without any additional bits and pieces. So that's a... What are we looking at? We're looking at a 5 versus a 2. So that's a -3 or better. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. So we succeed and we do 2 points of damage. Okay, so there we go. That's our turn. So pretty good all round. So what we did was we moved to... I know what we're going to do. We'll just take the damage and then heal it up. We moved to St. Mary's Hospital. We then attacked Ruth Turner with our machete and we succeeded. So we can finish her off next time. Okay, fantastic. All right, so that's the end of the investigation phase. Now in the enemy phase, she does 1 point of damage to us. So yeah, no big deal. And then we move into the upkeep phase. So we take another resource. We draw a card and we draw into another lucky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh bugger, we've got to put something in. We can get it back, so What do we throw in? Because we can use resourceful to get it back. So maybe... So the baseball bat's got fight. So I don't really want to use that. And I want to keep the luckies. So I think at the moment, let's stick the look what I found in there. We can get it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, we can get it back when we use resourceful. So we use resourceful when we fight... probably when we fight the Masked Hunter, and then we can get look what I found back, so it's no big deal. Okay, let's just move these. So that's the end of the upkeep phase. There we go. All good. So let's move into the Mythos phase. Let's get up here. We're in turn 6. There are 5 Doom now. This is going to flip next time. And let's see what the lovely encounter deck has for us. And it has False Lead. If you have no clues, False Lead gets Surge. Surge is back. Hello, Surge. And we get instead... Oh, we get Crypt Chill. Oh, that's all right. Test for head. Well, we could use lucky, I suppose, here. All right, so test for head. And we get a 0. And we are a 3. So the question is, do we... that should be back up, sorry. So we've got a question. Do we get rid of the rabbit's foot? Or do we use... I think we use this. So I think we pay 1. Yeah. And we use lucky. Get +2 to the skill value of your test. So we succeed. There we go. So we... Yeah, fine. We didn't lose anything. Okay, cool. Let's move into the investigation phase. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to fight. We're going to fight Ruth Turner. So again, she's a 2. We are a 5. So we'll just straight up do it. 2 versus 5. And we get a cultist, which is a -2. Place 1 doom on the nearest cultist enemy, which now -2. So this is the way I'm going to play this. -2 kills her. So Ruth Turner is now in the... I'm not sure about the order of this, but I'm going to assume that Ruth Turner is in the victory display. Crag goes wild. And I'm going to put the doom onto Herman Collins. Not that it actually matters because the doom's going to click over anyway. I think that's the order because you defeat her, and after you defeated her, you then put a doom on the nearest cultist enemy. So there we go. Yep. Okay, so there we go. We've got bagged ourselves our first cultist. That is brilliant. Now we've got 2 actions left, and the thing we've got to really prepare for is, of course, the coming of the Masked Hunter. Have we got a clue on here? Yes, we do. So what I might do is, it says heal 3 damage. So we're only 2 damage, but I think I'm going to avail myself of that. So the first thing we're going to do is heal ourselves up. That's our next action. And then our final action, we're going to investigate. This is a Shroud of 2, and we are a 2. 2v2. Now, do we use resourceful here? I think I want to keep that for fighting. So I think we just do 2v2. See how we go, because we'll always get a card if not. And we get a -1, so we fail. Is that right? Yes, we do. But we can exhaust the rabbit's foot, and we can draw a card. We draw into, yes, Survival Instinct. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. Okay, so that's the end of the investigation phase. We are now ready, I think, for when the Masked Hunter comes along. We should be able to dispatch him relatively quickly. But before we do that, enemy phase. There are no enemies to speak of that can do anything. Just got old Herman Collins, who's chilling in the graveyard. So we will leave him where he is. So we will move into the upkeep phase. So now we have 2, Bring back the rabbit's foot. We will flip these over. Yep. And we'll draw a card. We draw into the big cop. Nice. Not that we've got the... Now we've got to chuck something out again here. Probably this card. I don't... Yeah. Survival instinct. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice. Big cop. Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice to have gotten that before the Mouse Hunter comes along, but anyway, never mind. So we move into the Mythos phase. That means that we're now in turn 7. That's the 6 Doom. It was up to 6 anyway. So we'll get rid of this Doom as well. Yep. And of course, that brings out the good old Masked Hunter. Yes. Okay, he's engaged with us. Hello, Willet. Oh, can we be friends? Oh, that would be nice. And we're now in Agenda 2A. The minutes pass quickly as your investigation continues. Resign. You don't want to risk taking too long. Okay, so let's see what the encounter deck has for us. Deep breath. Encounter deck has... Oh, Hunting Shadow. Yes, good job. We spend a clue or take 2 damage. We have to take 2 damage because we don't have a clue. Good job. We healed ourselves up a little bit. Okay, so that's the end of the Mythos phase. So we move into the investigation phase, and here we are with the Masked Hunter. It's now time to bring out the big guns. So we are going to fight the Masked Hunter, and we're going to use a Vicious Blow, which means that makes us a 4, 5, 6. That's a 6 versus a 4. I'm going to make that a 7 versus a 4. So a 7 versus a 4. Worst case, if we still fail, we've got lucky. So that's a 7 versus a 4, which is a -3 or better. Chaos Bag gives us... Okay. It's okay. It's all right. We get an auto fail, which means we can exhaust Rabbit's Foot and draw a card. All right. There we go. So that was failure. So we lost a Vicious Blow in the process as well. We will do that again. We will bring out another Vicious Blow. So that, and we will also bring out the Gravedigger's Shovel. So there we go. That's another 4, 5, 7. Oops. A 7 versus a 4. Second action. Chaos Bag gives us a -4. 7 versus 4 is a failure, but we can spend 1. Wow, we're using our cards. We will bring out lucky and we succeed. Yep. So we succeed and we do 1, 2, 3 points of damage to the Masked Hunter. Okay. Oh boy. Alright, final action. No lucky now. We're playing without a safety net. We will fight again. So we are a 4, 5. We will put in the baseball bat, make that a 6. And the machete, make that a 7. So that's all of our fight cards pretty much. So it's a 7. It's another 7 versus a 4. Chaos Bag gives us a -1 and we succeed, and that's another 2 points of damage, but that's only 2 this time. Hello. So we did 3 points, and then we did another 2 points, so he's up to 5. Okay, there we go. So there we go. That was quite a fraught time. We put in the Vicious Blow and we put in an extra fight to give us a 7 versus 4. We auto failed, but we drew a card. We then did that again. We did a 7 versus a 4 with the vicious blow, and we succeeded and did 3 points of damage. And then we did another 7 versus a 4 and did 2 points of damage. So next time, hopefully, we can kill the masked hunter. We just need 1 point of damage more. That was really fraught, but we got there, thank goodness. Now, in the enemy phase, he hits us, but we're going to spend 1 and we're going to bring out the dodge. So that will cancel that attack. Really used up all our resources here. So we will move into the upkeep phase. We will bring back the good old rabbit's foot. We will take a resource. We will draw a card, and we draw into Bury Them Deep. This is our special event. Fast play after a non-elite enemy at your location is defeated. Add that enemy to the victory display. And this card, he is an elite enemy. So that's nice. We can actually get a extra victory point. Very nice, but not at the moment. Okay, but we can also use the fight, which actually I use it more for that, to be honest. But anyway, that's the end of the upkeep phase. So we'll just flip these as well. There we go. So we move into the mythos phase. Let's shift up to here. It's now turn 8. We've got 1 doom down. Let's see what the lovely encounter deck has for us. And it has an obscuring fog. Attach this to your location. So that kind of limits what we can do here at St Mary's Hospital. Because that makes this location a shroud of 4. Yeah. That was a bit of a pain, that. Yeah. Okay. All right. But, you know, at least it wasn't, you know, something like a night gaunt or something. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Ah, coffee. Right. Let's move into the investigation phase. We've got 3 actions. All right. Let's finish off this masked hunter. Okay. I'm going to use the Bury Them Deep to do it. So first action. Let's fight again. So we're going to throw that in. Fight 2 fight pips. So that gives us a 4, 5, 7. 7 versus 4. Chaos Bag gives us a +1, and we do 2 points of damage. And the Masked Hunter is dead, which means the Masked Hunter is also in the victory display, and the crowd goes wild. There we go. Fantastic. Whew. That's great. Okay. So what do we do now? So we've got 2 more goes. We can't bring out the beat cop at the moment because we don't have the resources. We really are very depleted in terms of cards. And we don't have the look what I found because our resourcefulness. So we're really in a bit of a pickle. We don't have any... And we're not really in a position to go and get Herman Collins at the moment because we don't have enough cards. So getting the clues here is going to be problematic. So what I might do is because either we could move to Rivertown, we'll get a card, we can get a couple more cards and then move to the graveyard. We could do that. Oh, we can draw 3 cards, can't we, at Southside? Why don't we do that? That's probably the best thing to do. So we will move to Southside. And then we will draw 3 cards. Very nice. Ah, there's emergency cash. There we go. So that's good. And we got a flashlight. That's nice. So that's very, very helpful. Yes. So actually, now that we've done that, we could go and get Herman Collins. We could just go and do that over in the graveyard rather than messing around And then hopefully, I think the graveyard's got a low shroud, so we can get the clues there and then maybe get another. I think that's the best thing to do. Okay, so that's the end of our turn. So basically, all we did was defeat the Masked Hunter. We then moved over to the Historical Society, and we availed ourselves of that to draw 3 cards. And we drew into a flashlight and various other bits and pieces so that we're set up to do things next time. So we'll move into the enemy phase. There are no enemies to speak of, so we move into upkeep. We get a resource. Let's flip these over. Very nice. Let's draw another card. We haven't had our weaknesses yet, which is a worry. We get scavenging. After you successfully investigate by 2 or more, exhaust scavenging and choose an item in your discard pile. Good. So we can get something back. Or we can use it for the intellect pip. Wow. Okay. Good. All right, we will move into the Mythos phase. So back up to here. Once Tabletop Simulator gets its act together. Hello? No, that's not what I asked for. Yes. So we're in turn 9. Second Doom. We're a third of the way through. Quarter of the way through already. Let's see what the encounter deck has for us. And it has a locked door where there's the most clues. Well, I think it's a toss-up between St. Mary's Hospital and Southside. Let's put it in Southside because that's where we are and, you know, things. Let's put it there. Okay. So we will move into the, into the investigation phase. Okay. Now I could bring out the beat cop now, but do I really need the beat cop just at the moment? The stray cat would be good because that automatically just evades an enemy. I think we just need to move and get Herman Collins. So I'm going to move into the graveyard. Graveyard. Forced. After you enter the graveyard, test 3. If you fail, you must either take 2 horror or move to Rivertown. So test 3, and we are a 3. Let's just go ahead and do that. So we moved and we moved. Test 3. We get a -2, so we fail. Draw a card. Get another rabbit's foot. We take 2 horror, I think, as a consequence. Is that right? Take 2 horror. Okay, and we will Herman Collins, so we take 2 horror. Ooh, halfway through. So we're now here with Herman Collins, but it says choose and discard 4 cards from your hand. Well, let's go 1. 2. Oh no, I think we'll be fine. 2, 3, 4. We'll just 4 cards from our hand. Add Herman Collins to the victory display. There we go, and the crowd goes wild. Fantastic. That's brilliant. We've now got 3 cultists under our... We're doing really, really, really well, he says. So that was our final action there. So we that's great. So what we can do is we can pick up these 2 clues next time. Particularly if we bring out the flashlight, that's an auto win in terms of that. And then we can get a final, at least 1 more final cultist, maybe even 2. That's brilliant. I'm aware, though, that our weaknesses have not come out yet, and we're down to 11 cards. So we've been very lucky from that perspective. But anyway, we will... so that was our final action. We'll see how we go. Okay, so pretty good. Things are going really well. William Yorick's really in contention here. We move into the enemy phase. There are no enemies to speak of at all on the table. So we will move into the upkeep phase. We get another resource. We draw a card, and we get the lantern. great, because this gets -1 trade for this investigation. That's really good, because then we can do that really quickly and easily, because then it's 0 essentially. Okay, happy with that, except it's going to cost 2, but then the flashlight's going to cost 2 as well. And then we move into the, let's just flip those over. Let's move into the mythos phase. Where are we now? We're in turn 10. There are 3 doom down. We're running out of time. We really need to get going. Let's see what the good old encounter deck has for us. And it has the Wizard of the Order, which is really, really, really annoying, because that can really mess things up. So we better stick the Wizard of the Order at Rivertown, because he just starts ratcheting up with doom. So we will need to deal with him relatively quickly. Okay, he's a real pain. Oh well. Okay. So there we go. That's the end of the mythos phase. I should have righted. I always forget that, the rabbit's foot. Okay, so we move into the investigation phase. Now I've got 2 choices here. I could either move straight and try and kill the Wizard of the Order. But he's a 4 fight, and we are also we're a 5, but it would be great to have the beat cop. So what I'm going to do is probably just wait. I think we'll be okay to wait. What I'm going to do instead is my first action. I'm going to spend 2, bring out the lantern. So the lantern is great because your location gets -1 shroud, which means that the graveyard is now essentially 0, which means as long as we don't auto-fail, we get those clues. So my second action, I'm going to investigate using the lantern. And what do we get? We succeed, but I think we put a doom on the, yes, nearest cultist enemy. That's the... bloody hell, we are really going to have to deal with this guy. So there we go, that's a doom on him, but we get one of the clues. And we will do it again. We will investigate again, and we get a -2, but it's at 0, so it's 0 versus 0, so we succeed again. We get both of those clues, which means that we got the victory point here in the graveyard. So that moves into the victory display, and the crowd goes wild again. Look at this. We now have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 victory points, 3 cultists. It's all gravy. It's all gravy and rainbows from here for William Yorick. That is fantastic. Wow, brilliant. So if we can now get one final cultist, we'll be doing really, really well. So there we go. That's the end of the investigation phase. We move into the enemy phase. There are no enemies to speak of. Well, there are, but he's just waiting patiently there. The doom is now up to 3, but actually in reality it's 5, and it's going to go up 6. Oh boy, we will need to kill him next go. All right, so that's the end of the enemy phase. We move into the upkeep phase. So we flip these over. We take another resource. We draw a card, and we draw into another flashlight. Double flashlights, dual wielding flashlights, which we don't really need. So there we go. That's the end of the upkeep phase. So we move into the mythos phase. Let's shift up to here. We are in turn 11. There are 4 doom here, and there are 2 doom on here, and he gets another doom at the end of the mythos phase. So there are 6 doom down out of 8. Let's see what the encounter deck has for us, and it has a hunting shadow. So either we spend a clue or take 2 damage. I'm going to take the 2 damage. Too bad. There we go. All right. Okay, so we'll move into the investigation phase. Now, what's his deal? He is a 4 fight with only 2. So do we have... Because the thing is, if we could get the beat cop out, but I think... We've only got 2 resources, so we'd have to spend 2, and then we would move. No. So we've really got to deal with him now. So I'm going to move to Rivertown. So he's a 4 and we're a 5. 4 versus 5. So that was our first action to... Oh, come on, Wizard of the Order. Get your act together here. Actually, he's got 3 Doom on him now. It's near the end of the Mythos phase. So, yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is, we've got 3 chances to hit him. I think we just go ahead. Let's try and fight him without using our beat cop. So we're a 5... versus a 4, but the skulls, it's -3. Let's see how we go. 5 versus 4. Chaos Bag gives us a -3, so we fail. Draw a card. And we draw into another lantern. So we'll do it again. So this is another 5 versus a 4. Chaos Bag gives us a skull, so we fail that. So we're going to have to throw in the beat cop and try a 3rd time. 4, 5, 6 now. I was really hoping this wouldn't happen. 6 versus 4, -2 or better. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. Woo, boy. And we do 2 points of damage, and we kill the Wizard of the Order. Wow, okay. Woo, okay. So, there we go. He didn't have Retaliate on him, did he? Ooh. Please don't have Retaliate. He does. Oh, he does. So I should have taken 2 more points of damage. Wow. Oh, I suddenly thought, has he got Retaliate? Yes. Thank goodness he's only 1 point every time. That's right, isn't it? Yes, he is. Okay. Wow, we're getting a bit sick here. That's all right. We're still alive. Still alive. There we go. So that was quite a fraught. Fighting has been quite fraught. So we hit the wizard. We tried to hit the Wizard of the Order with our machete, and we failed. We took a damage. We tried to hit the Wizard of the Order again, and we failed, and we took a damage. And then we tried to hit the Wizard of the Order a 3rd time, and we succeeded and killed the Wizard of the Order. So what we should do next time is, I think, where are we up to now? We're in turn 4. I think we see what the cultist is. Hopefully we can get that cultist and get out of here. I'm also worried about our weaknesses. They can't be far away as well, and we are looking rather sick. We had to throw in we've thrown in all of our allies, so we can't get them back apart from the stray cat possibly. So yes. Anyway, we move into the enemy phase now. No enemies to speak of, so we move into upkeep. But, it's all gravy and rainbows from here anyway. So there we go. Take a 4th resource, draw a card. We're going to draw into our weakness one of these days. Well, that's good, because if we get not Ruth Turner. What's the name of the lady in Northside? We are set. So let's hope that we get that. But before we do, let's move into the Mythos phase. So we move up here. We are in turn 12, 5 Doom. Let's see what the encounter deck has for us. And the encounter deck has Hunting Shadow. You are kidding me. No, you must either spend a clue or take 2 damage. We cannot take 2 damage, so we have to spend a clue. That is a bugger. Oh well. Okay, so we're in the investigation phase. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I'm really loath to draw many more cards, to be honest. What I might do is move up to north side, flip north side. So we moved 1, 2. And I'm going to put in emergency cash. See if we can... Virginia Devereaux. Let's see if we can make this work. We can buy ourselves more clues, and hopefully we can then do it that way. If not, if things get really hairy, we can always resign. So there we go. That's the end. So the investigation phase was basically moving up to north side and using emergency cash. So we'll move into the enemy phase. I don't think there are any enemies to speak of. I think we're enemy free at the moment. So we will move into upkeep. So we now have 8 resources. We'll draw a card and we draw into the baseball bat. Amazingly, our weaknesses are right down the bottom. That is really rare. Incredible. And yeah. So there we go. That's our upkeep phase. So we move into the mythos phase. So we shift up to here. We're now in turn 13, 6 doom. We've literally got one more turn, I think. So it's going to be things are really down to the wire now, because let's see what the mythos, the encounter deck has for us. The encounter deck has, of course, just when we thought things were going okay, we get a bloody hunting night gaunt. What a pain in the backside. Seriously. Worst possible time to get one. Anyway. So we will move into the investigation phase. Well, here we are. Oh, what's this? Discard the lantern. Deal 1 damage. Ah, yes. To an enemy at your location. Well, that's not much help here. So we got a choice here. We could fight the we can fight the hunting night gaunt. So he's a 3 and we are a 5. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Because trying to evade him is in some ways harder. So let's go ahead. So he's a 3. Let's make it a... so we're a 4, 5, 6. 6 versus a 3. 6v3. Chaos bag, it gives us a -3, so we succeed. And we do 2 points of damage to the night gaunt. And then I think we can discard the lantern and deal an enemy at your location. So, oh no, what am I talking about? He's 4. So that was the first action. Second action, let's do it again, except this time we are a 5 versus a 3. 5v3 +1, getting a lot of +1s, and we succeed. And he is dead. Great. So I guess the final thing is we've got a choice here. We can either investigate, or we can spend 5 resources to get 2 clues. Now I'm just thinking about this. If we spend 5 resources, we'll have 3. I think we go ahead and investigate. So it's a -1 because we have the lantern to investigate. So let's go up. Let's go here. So that gives it a shroud of 2. So we're a 2 versus a 2, but we can throw these in 3, 4, 5. So we're making it a 5 versus a 2. 5 versus a 2. Chaos Bag is a -1. We get the clue. Great. Fantastic. So there we go. We've got our 2 clues now. So what we can do is, next time, we can, barring something happening with the encounter deck or something else, we can throw in the clues. If we get Devro, we can immediately put her in the victory display. So that's what I'm hoping will happen. If not, it's probably going to be resign time. So we'll see how we go. So that was that. The enemy phase, there are no enemies to speak of. Oh. So we'll move into the upkeep phase. We get another resource. We draw a card and we draw into graveyard ghouls. While graveyard ghouls with you, cards cannot leave your discard pile. Well, they had to come up sometime. It's kind of a pretty crappy time to come up, though, I think. Okay. So we'll move into the Mythos phase. So we'll shift up to here. It is turn 14. 7 Doom. This is the last turn. Let's see what the encounter deck has for us. It has another Hunting Night Gaunt. Yes. 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 There we go. That's the end of the Mythos phase. So we move into the investigation phase. So we're in no position to start taking attacks of opportunity. There's no point in fighting these two or evading them. There's just not enough time because we are literally in turn 7. So I'm going to go ahead and resign and take what we have. So there we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I was hoping, I wonder if we would have got Ruth Turner at the final. Not Ruth Turner, Virginia Devereaux anyway, or whatever her name is. Let's see. Would we have got her? No, we would have got Peter Warren anyway. So, yeah. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We did pretty well. We got into turn 14 and we ended up with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 victory points, 3 cultists bagged. We were close to getting another cultist. We just ran out of time. And really, we just, at the very end here, there was just no point going on. But I think William Yorick did really, really, really well. What a fantastic time he had. The fighting was successful, but boy, it was a bit fraught with the fighting. But it could have, we just got some bad draws when we were doing that. But overall, pretty good. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Now, next time, we will be taking the final Carcosa Investigator through the Investigator Games, and that should be Lola. Everybody's favourite actress. Quite a challenge to play Lola with different roles that she plays. So, but she's interesting at the same time. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Until then, I'm Krabby Terror 8. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. So there we go. So let's see what we get. Oh, dang. What did I just do? Trial deck. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, man. That has got to be... I hit the 5 button too many times. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, no. Oh, God. Okay. How do we get them out of our hand? Oh, my God. This is excruciating. Oh, bloody hell. It's a wonder I can play this bloody game at all. Seriously. All right. It's getting easier now. Okay.